Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Movement Radio. I'm your host, Chip Hazard.
I'm your host, Alan Williams.
And I'm Roger Sierra.
Hi, I'm Drew.
Did it again.
so,
Piss me off.
so he do this thing where Talon always wants me to say host because I'm the third host, and I refuse to say I'm a host. I just say my name, and it bothers him so much for no reason at all.
He's trying to have a sneaky way out, is what he's trying to do.
Yeah. But thank you for joining us today.
Possibility. Go ahead.
Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. We are actually here. Sorry, we're here with a special guest. Do you want us to say Andrew or just Drew?
Drew, I usually just go Drew. It's so easy.
We're here with Drew Young from the Warrior Workout Network. You want to introduce yourself to the people out there in the space place?
Hey, yeah. So you guys got the co-host Sean on here in the past. I'm the other half of that little tandem. We're from the Warrior Workout Network. We're a nonprofit dedicated to battling the suicide and obesity epidemics that negatively affect the veteran community. We've really become facilitators lately, more so the podcast and connecting our listeners with new communities, new options, things to do, things to check out. So, like rugby, we're getting really big into rugby. You guys are doing wrestling. We can't wait to talk about wrestling. We've talked with, Dungeons and Dragons, metal fabrication, like you name it, filmmaking, all of it. You want to talk about getting out of your shell, stop being, stop isolating, self isolation. Force yourself out in these communities that tend to be inclusive, so you can go there and not worry about being judged. Because I don't know about you guys, but I judge myself a ton. So getting out, I always feel like people are judging me on things that I'm just judging myself on. So we try to really push the inclusiveness of these
That's
communities.
awesome.
Awesome. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Um, I like to start with a simple question, and it's just as simple as who is Drew?
Drew, I'm a husband, father. I stay at home all day, so I got two in homeschool, um, two dogs, two cats, a bunny, fish, all of it. Um, when I have the time, I'm a retired veteran. Um,
Thank you for your service.
and I
For your service, absolutely.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I was actually out in Tennessee. That's where I met Sean, and that's just kind of where everything kind of clicked there. But yeah, I did my time in the army. Um, it was getting out that was really the biggest fight. It was really difficult because there was a lot of identity issues. I didn't come from that stable of a background, anyways, so I didn't have a lot of coping skills. So my ability to adapt to places wasn't always very keen. So the change to civilian life was very jarring for me, and I found myself in a really bad place. So drinking, I'm 6 years sober. I think, what year is it? 2021.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Thanks,
congratulations.
man. Um, yeah, 6 years in May. From alcohol, not weed. I'm a medical cannabis user. I don't preach sobriety in that manner because I have to microdose throughout the day, and it helps me get through, especially when I'm highly anxious. But that's Drew. I'm anxious. I'm a dad. I'm trying to fight that negative voice in my head and get it out of there and replace it with a positive one.
I think we can all relate to that in some way
Absolutely.
or another.
Yeah.
We're all dads. I have a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old little boy, and I'm always wondering, am I doing what's right by them? There's that voice in the back of the head. Am I a good dad? Um, you know, when I have to punish them, are they going to hate me for that, or are they going to respect the fact that I'm teaching them those values of what's right and what's wrong and stuff like that.
I go
Yeah.
through that a lot, dude, and I found that it's all in the delivery. Um, I grew up with a really heavy-handed stepfather who was very like a browbeater. So it was very forceful, like hand in your face, just do this, do this, do this, cut the crap. And while I can find myself doing that, I have to fight myself and be like, okay, let's talk it out. Why'd you mess up? What were you thinking? What can we do different next time? And I think that they respond way better to that respectful like talk back and forth rather than the like coming down hard every time. It seems like they open up more and they get a lot more honest, and they use the honest voice rather than like hiding it with that nervous baby voice I
Yep.
found. So that's your children are the barometer, dude. Like you have to. That's how you're guiding
Yeah, it's
everything.
crazy because like I have a 7-year-old son, and he's wild,
Mm.
rambunctious, wants to go everywhere, wants to do everything. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, I have an 11-month-year-old girl. So I'm on the complete opposite ends of it. So it's like, okay, I
Yeah,
can't treat the
buddy.
baby the same way I treat the 7-year-old, but then again, I don't want to treat the 7-year-old the same way I treat the baby. So there's always a conflict. Not to mention it's a boy and it's a girl. So you know, right then and there. And I think a lot of people asked me one time is like, I think someone's like, is it different being the father of a little girl as opposed to being the father of a son? It's the same, but it's different because in one hand, it's like, okay, like it's going to sound weird the way I'm saying it. When my son was born, for about a week or two after my son was born, I always had this fear that I wasn't going to be able to be around for him, and I would have dreams that that I was going to die. Like it would, I would always end up dead in my dreams, you know. And I looked it up, and it said that normally when you have a dream that you die,
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
So important.
So it's very, very important.
Oh, it's right at the helm, right at
Yes.
it.
I don't even think he knows.
He
He
doesn't.
doesn't even
No.
know.
See, this is
It's
what talk about.
perfect.
This is his Chromebook. That's why we
Wait,
don't.
wait a
did
second. He
it
caught it. He
completely
caught it.
mute me? You guys
Yes.
hear me?
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
we hear you
Oh,
now.
I fucking hate this, man. I'm just gonna listen, keep my answer short and sweet. So
Right at the important, right
Yeah.
It
at the
was right
crescendo,
Yeah,
at it.
dude.
yeah.
Yes.
Right there. You gotta finish. No, we gotta
okay,
Yes.
finish. I have to
when
know.
did it cut me? When did you what was the last thing you guys heard?
When you looked up the dreams.
When I
Yes.
looked up the
Yeah.
dream, it was that anytime you have a dream about dying, it's because a part of your life is now dead, and the part that was dead was me no longer being a a person who doesn't have kids. Like I have a son now, so now I'm a father. So the part of me was down was the part that wasn't a father. Now I have a daughter. The dreams that I'm having when she first born was someone was always trying to take her away from me. So now with my son, I have to raise him to be a man. With my daughter, I have to teach her how a man is supposed to treat her, you know. And that is a weird dynamic in that sense because like, I worry, am I showing one more love than the other? And which I got anxiety anyways, and that's what kind of like, okay,
That
he's
should
my dad.
let you know that you're a dad, that you care enough to have the anxiety to be like, oh my, am I doing it right?
Right,
That's
exactly.
that
It's crazy. It really is, you know.
you're
Just
adjusting. Like whenever you find yourself slipping, you fix it, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Then
It
don't
gets
ever be
scary
too hard on
sometimes,
yourself.
you know?
Yeah, of course. Oh my God, dude, I've got an 8-year-old daughter, a 6-year-old or a 5-year-old daughter, and a 3-year-old son. Um, I'll tell you, raising two daughters and a son, night and day. My daughters, while they had those destructive elements and those curious elements, it doesn't touch what my son is curious and what he wants to fuck up. Like it's amazing. And I don't say that in any bad way because I it's where you walk that fine line of fostering the curiosity and nurturing their curiosity, but still making them understand that you can't stick that in the light socket. And it just for him, it's way, it's every day. For them,
Right.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, when you see your daughter get older and progress through those stages, you'll see, okay, it is the differences are somewhat noticeable.
Oh yeah. I
It's
mean,
awesome, dude. It's an incredible journey, man. And each relationship is its own, that's your little girl, and you just that's awesome.
I
Right.
mean, I have a 12-year-old daughter, a 7-year-old daughter, a 6-year-old son, and a 1-year-old baby daughter.
Hmm. Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
so big
He's
dynamics
already a year old
everywhere.
already.
What?
He's already a year old already.
Yeah, a month to go today.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. She's climbing and drop kicking everybody and headbutting people. That's her favorite thing to do.
My daughter just like my daughter just likes to take her toy and just swing it and hit you in the face with it.
She used to do that, but now she's discovered that her head hurts a lot more, so she just headbutts people. I don't even know where she
Yes.
gained that knowledge from. Like she just goes straight full force
Well,
into it.
you do what? Well, you do watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, so she probably watched Shibata do it a couple of times.
I don't doubt that.
I don't
Where
doubt
the
that at
dents
all.
in the stove keep coming from? Just
Right? Um,
Now I got a scar on my head.
so so Drew, you mentioned that you are a veteran. You were in the army. What was your job title?
a scout. Um,
Yeah.
so yep, as a I started off as a scout in 2004. Uh, Ruck and I we went to Iraq in 2005. And through 2005 to 2009, and then 2000, I think 2008 or something. Yeah, I went to Afghanistan. But through there, it was just a lot of like training, deploy, go to schools, train, go to school. If you were, maybe you get some family time and then deploy. And then after that, it was, oh, hey, you look tired. Instead of dodging these bullets, why don't you go into recruiting and dodge some career bullets? And it's like, okay, so let's stick you behind a desk. Um, 3 years behind a desk in recruiting, and I was one of those. I was a shitty recruiter. I was a terrible recruiter because I was like, no, I'm not gonna have someone go in the army and be like that misleading son of a bitch.
Right.
Fuck him and everything he. So I took a lot of. Well, first of all, I'm fucking lazy. That's a big part of it. All right, so make no mistake, that was a factor. I didn't want to do any of the. I was like, this paperwork sucks. It's not from no fucking way. Like the no. And then two, I'm not gonna lie to these kids. I'm not gonna sit there and tell them this is amazing. This is all that. When it's here's the truth about it. Yeah, you could earn up to this, but you're not going to. When we talk about you making that $215,000, we're talking about that accumulatively. That's your health benefits, that's your education benefits, that's paying into you get a clothing allowance, you get that's everything accumulative. You get this sold this package, and it's like it's nice, and they make good on it, and they hold you to your end. If you mess up, they're gonna take theirs. But um, it, I had a hard time selling it because I couldn't get behind it. I was like, no, because the way you guys are pushing it is unethical. You're misleading, and I hate that. I don't want to be a liar. I don't want to be a liar. And it just so I struggled really hard there. Um I lost a lot of discipline when I got there too. Like I was fine. I got along with everyone just fine, but I like settling down, coming back from deployments, not training anymore, not working out, and not dieting properly. It all of it came to a head. I was drinking a lot, um, and then this is when like you know issues start coming up to surface. Like okay, things you hadn't dealt with mentally, that you hadn't recovered from, that you thought that you had. Um, y- I there's a point, especially when you're deployed. Um, it's not often talked about, but when you're dealing with mass amounts of sleep deprivation, and then you're constantly working, constantly, and it's not always like it's not what you think. It's not like it's like oh, just like bullets, 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 war, war, war. It's literally like 3 weeks of nothing, and then nothing again, and then but you throw a lot of lack of sleep on there, stress, and it just turns you into a ticking time bomb. Um, you sit behind a desk and you lose any form of good habits like working out, eating right, and then a lack of personal habits, being able to deal with um, the past traumas, any coping mechanisms from childhood, undealt with childhood traumas. You become a massive, just explosive ball toward everybody.
Right,
Um,
right.
and eventually, it all came to a head, and I had to go to my commander. I was like, dude, this isn't working. I'm about to explode. I went to go talk to a doctor. They're like, no, you don't. You need to go to a transition unit, and you need to take a break. I did, and that's when they started. They're like, okay, dude, you need to probably consider getting out. Like it's too much. Um, like it just you've got things elsewhere. So in that period, I started partying a lot, cheated on my wife. Fuck, I'm drinking, addicted to alcohol. Um, I have this high pressure job because I'm getting out of the army, and now I'm going to work for NASA. And the 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 transition there is insane because it's like go do this all this work for the government, and then it's like go learn this brand new skill, and don't just learn it, but learn it to a point where you have to get hired doing it afterwards. You've got to make a living for your family because you go in as an intern, and then maybe if you're lucky you get hired. um Dude, so between that and then there's this period when you go through being um medically retired or medically processed out of the army where you become incredibly coddled, everyone tending to your needs, and then you're just like you get an ego about it. All of a sudden your trauma becomes a thing and people are like, oh, let him be, and you kind of feed into it. And if you don't catch it, you can become a fucking tyrant toward people around you.
I can relate to that to a point. So when I was 17 years old, I enlisted in the Marines. Went
Well,
to
thank you, man.
basic. Well, I'll explain. I spent zero time. I never deployed or anything. I got a medical discharge right after I graduated basic. I was 17 years old, signed up for the military, went to Paris Island, literally hell on earth. Like you, if you've ever heard a story about training on Paris Island, it's
Sure.
true. It
Yeah, man.
every bit of it is true. Um, so right after basic, we were just on a basic hike and everything, and I passed out. And they sent me to the doc, and they diagnosed me with something called exercise induced asthma.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Um, and so they gave me a medical, kicked me out, and this was in August of '01, so right before September 11th happened. And so when
Oh,
they,
whoa.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, man. Oh, you're
um,
17, you're 36.
yeah, I'm 37, or I'll be 38 this year.
Oh, shit. Yeah, we're the same age, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Nice.
Um, so uh, in the process of being discharged, you go to what's known as Recruit Separation Platoon,
Mm,
RSP, and you're, like you said, you're completely coddled. They give you kind of a job where it's supposed to reacquaint you to the real world.
yeah.
Um, but it was like I fell into that laziness. I just slept. Like, I would hide in a corner somewhere and sleep for hours and hours because I didn't want to be there. Because mentally, when I got the medical discharge, I was like, oh, I'm not, um, I'm not good enough for this and everything, So I went through, I don't, I guess it was a form of depression,
Oh no, that's
because
depression. Everything you're talking about. I was going to call it out before you. Right when you said sitting in the corner, going to sleep, I was like, oh, you were severely depressed.
yeah,
Severely, dude. Do you look at that time at all as as a period of pride? First of all.
I was proud of myself for
Mhm.
making it through basic, but then I was extremely disappointed in myself for being discharged, because it wasn't on my own, you know, on my own accord. It wasn't something that I chose to do. It's something that somebody chose for me.
Of course.
Um, and then when September 11th happened, I tried to reenlist. I tried to reenlist in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, everything. Nobody would take me. So then it was, you know, damn, I'm really not good enough to do this. Um, and then from there, I started training to be a pro wrestler, and that's been 18, 19 years ago.
Well, how are you
Well,
controlling the asthma now? Do you have an inhaler nebulizer
No, I
system?
the thing is it's never flared up again, ever.
Really?
Like they sent me home with an inhaler.
Mm.
Um, I used it for like 2 weeks and felt fine. And went to a local doctor and they tested me and they're like, "There's nothing wrong with you. You don't have to use this anymore if you don't want to." And I've never used it again.
Nice.
So I don't know if it was just like a fluke thing or God was like, "Hey, you don't need to be here." Like I cope with it now. It's just like, hey,
I was
I
gonna
wasn't,
say, go ahead.
uh, you know, mentally, I'm like, hey, I just wasn't meant to be there. There was, you know, extenuating factors that I was meant to do something else.
Good. I'm
So,
glad you saw it that way. That's how you need to do. I was gonna say, as an adult, I hope you forgave that child because you were absolutely out of control. Like you had no control over when they're like, "Hey, you're out. You're out." Like you have no you. And you were 17. You're 17 years old,
right,
willing to go through hell. At 17 years old, I didn't have the strength to do something like that. I had to wait till I was. I don't. I think I was 19 when I joined.
right.
And then even to go to the Marines, I never would have joined them. I've heard what they do. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Like that's
Uh,
crazy. So you did that at 17. I hope you carry that as a point of pride for all your life, man.
oh,
And
I
forgive.
definitely do
Yeah,
now.
right.
But in that period of
Oh,
time,
of
it
course.
was
Yeah.
just, you know, I was, I guess, severely depressed. Like, and I've never dealt with, you know, mental health issues since then. Like Talon will tell you, I'm the easiest going dude. Like he likes to say that I have this innate ability to just say fuck it, and
Mm.
like I do. I control the stuff that I worry about the stuff that I control, and anything that I don't have any control over, I'm just like, it is what it is. We'll
God,
see where
that's
it
such a
goes.
gift. That's
Uh,
such a gift.
I'm
God.
I'm the one that's on Wellbutrin, so if that tells you anything. So but it's
Yeah.
helping me, so I'm good.
If it's working, that's the thing. Like if it works, it works. It's not
But
well. I don't know. Well, and I don't. Wellbutrin is not an SSRI, right? So it's like,
it's for anxiety, but it's not like Adderall or Ritalin or any of that other stuff.
yeah, but it's not a receptor inhibitor. So like your functionality, like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's
I mean, it's
beautiful that
functional.
something like Wellbutrin can work. Especially, I'm sorry.
No, 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 go ahead.
Oh, I think that can work, and it works. You know that it's working, dude. That's amazing. I had some when I hit my down period. I can't remember what medicine they had me on. I was on Effexor in 2013 or something. I went off of it cold turkey, and I went to go talk to my wife, and I couldn't form words. Like I couldn't put shapes. Like no shapes made sense. No, I was just like, all right, dude, I'm gonna go kill. I'm like, I'm gonna go kill myself now. Like it was terrible. And then, but I was like, that's my last SSRI. I went on to something similar to Wellbutrin, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling it. This works. This is awesome. It's amazing. And then all of a sudden, I could perform in bed, but I couldn't finish. Which, by the way, now I super empathize with women when they're like, no, no, fuck, I don't want to. I'm not getting mine. It's not fun for me. Like, I'm like, oh, I get that. I get why it's not fun. There's no fucking payoff sometimes. So,
Yeah,
that's what I like to use during my comedy set, anyways, because the chicks are like, I'm like, nah, but I get it now every time. So, so
right.
right.
No, it's helped me out tremendously. When they put me on it back in 2017, and no, I'm sorry, yeah, 2017. And then I was on it for about a year, and then like I just ran out of medicine, didn't have any more refills, and I was like, maybe I don't need it anymore. Like I'm good now. I don't need it anymore. And then I've noticed a lot of, my friends and especially my family, they were like, yo, are you okay? Because I would be worried about just,
It went out
Oh,
again.
he went out
Always,
again.
always. Remember when I said I couldn't finish? This is how it felt every time.
Are you back?
He stopped talking. He's upset.
It's
He'll
not
be
your
back
fault.
in a minute.
It's all good. It's not you, man. It is not you.
Yeah.
I hate this computer.
There it is.
I hate it. I hate the computer.
You gotta talk nice to it, man. You gotta speak
Okay.
nice.
Let
Just
me
caress it and love on
Let
it.
it know you're on the same team.
let me rewind. 2017
Yep.
was when I was on Wellbutrin.
Yep.
Took
Got
it for
that.
about a year. And then I got off of it thinking, I'm good. I don't need it anymore. I'm fine. And then my friends and family were like, hey, because I was always paranoid and everything like that. And of course, me having ADHD didn't really help matters at all. I've had ADHD. I was diagnosed with it when I was, I think, 8, something like that. And
That's what I think I got. Yeah.
yeah, and I was on Ritalin for the longest time, but I hated it because it made me feel like I was a zombie, you know. So I just never took Ritalin anymore. And then I got a little bit older, thinking, okay, I can grow out of it. It's no longer, it's not gonna be anything. I still deal with my ADHD to this day, and there's two different types. There's functioning ADHD, and then there's non-functioning ADHD. I just happen to be fortunate to be on the functioning side of it, but it's something that affects it affects 24% of Americans, and of the 24%, like 85% of them are males. And then as you go into the adulthood, it only affects like 2% of adults, and of that 2%, 75% are males. So um yeah, so it's like I'm getting the short end of the stick on this whole thing.
Well,
um
I'm with you. How do you
yeah,
deal with it? Like naturally, because you can. It's manageable.
it's very manageable. I think. Well, really, what it is it's like, I don't know if it's the left side of my brain works faster than the right side of my brain, or whatever scientific bullshit study you want to read to try to figure it out. But how I deal with it is I just try to keep myself busy. There were times when I just couldn't sleep. I would have insomnia, and in sometimes I still had that insomnia. They'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go lay down and go to bed. I get in bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then next thing you know, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm back up again watching TV or something because I just couldn't fall asleep. Then there'll be some nights where it's like I'm probably gonna stay up to about 11, then I'm knocked out before 8:30. Sometimes it happens like that, but that's when I'm not on my medication. But also with the Wellbutrin now that what I'm taking now is that you know, it's helped me be more calm, more, and it's helped me to, it kind of blocks out the stuff where it's like, if you hear something, normally when you hear something, it normally triggers something, to make you think something or like that. And I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Wellbutrin is basically helping me to say, fuck it. You know what I mean? So, and on top of the ADHD, like just keeping myself busy. And I think that this podcast, because especially during the pandemic, because before the pandemic, we were wrestling, and that took the majority of me. That took the majority of what, because that was like my wrestling was my therapy. When I was able to go into the ring on Saturday nights and just get in front of a bunch of people and just wrestle and be the superhero baby face or the asshole heel, whatever.
You
Like that was
get
my
to tell
therapy.
that story through wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
And but since the
So fun.
pandemic, a lot of things kind of wear down. And over the course of the summer, like I did go into a state of depression when I
Oh yeah.
wasn't eating right anymore. I wasn't taking care of my body. I wasn't on my medication. Like I ballooned up to like 245 pounds. Like I was you know, got laid off at my job. So I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? Thinking there ain't no hopes. I got, luckily, God's plan happened, and I was able to get a job, like the very next week after I got
Awesome.
let go. I, got to, my buddy Sean Thompson reached out to me and said, hey man, if you're serious about losing weight, I can help you. I'm a certified trainer. And then that's when we had an arrangement to, we show him love on the podcast. He shows us love. He helps us out. And, you know, and I started retaking my medicine again, so, and I don't have I don't have a war story like you or Chip, or, like, I don't have those type of stories, but I can only go by my personal life experiences, because I wasn't,
Struggle's universal, dude. We can never
right,
compare. Never
right. But,
compare. We can never compare
yeah,
struggles, dude.
yeah. I just, it's just, you guys are talking about, like, going to war, and, Chip going through basic training. And I'm over here like, I was bullied in school. Like,
Bro,
like,
no, see, that's the thing though. Like, but
you know,
I just realized this week that my trauma through combat was only a little piece of my life. I was also bullied in school. The first time I ever had my gun pulled on me and my life threatened on me, I was living in a projects. I was 4 years old, living in a projects in Washington. First time I ever had a knife pulled on me, I was 8 years old, or 7 or 8 years old, in a locker room and in the gym at
damn.
school. Like like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you live your trauma, bro, and that's your life. Like, my trauma and your trauma, like, it's all universal. Like, his was depressed. Like, you saw you heard his story, you're like, bam, depression. Fuck, I've been there. Like, it doesn't matter what I've been through, where you were at right there, I've been there, dude. And
Right.
so, like, let's get through this, because dude, I've been there. We can get out of it. I get there too sometimes, again, still. And then I get guys like you, they're like, hey, fuck face, let's get up and get the hell out of here. Like, that's what it's all about, man. It's fucking it's a fuck never compares to fuck comparing struggles. Everybody struggles. Life
Yeah.
sucks. This pandemic sucks.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Yes.
it's kicked
Yeah.
my ass harder than any deployment mentally, because I've had to navigate being a father through. Think about this. This is a trauma. This is like, you're going to, every time somebody says 2020 in the next 10 years, you're going to be like, go fuck yourself. Don't ever say that to me again. And it's going to be something you've got through.
Right. You know what's so crazy is that the year 2020, I think everybody's going to have their stories about 2020. I used to tell this bit when I did stand up about how um, I'm waiting for my son to come to me when he's older, and he'll say, "Hey, Daddy, we got to do a essay or tell a short story about a certain year over the past 20 years." Okay, well, what year did you pick? Well, I was given the year 2016. Sit down, son. Take 3 shots of Jaeger. Okay, it started with this fucking gorilla. Okay.
Fucking Harambe. And then all of a sudden we're storming Area 51. And the
Right.
next thing you fucking know, Jeffrey Epstein is hanging by himself in a fucking cell.
Yep.
I don't think he's. You know what? Never mind.
Neither do I. Neither do I. He's still out there. God. No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Oh, we could definitely do a conspiracy episode.
Oh my
Oh,
god. Yeah. That's something. But yeah, and now it's gonna be like 2020. It's like, oh god, I don't even want to relapse, because you know how it started. Started
Tiger
when Kobe
King.
died.
Oh yeah.
Oh no. It started with Kobe died, and then
The world went to hell.
Yeah, Kobe died. World
No.
went to hell.
Kobe
that
died.
bitch Carol Baskin turned into a tiger.
I would
All
say
that
that
shit.
God,
Tiger King
Carol
was right after that,
Baskin.
but yeah. I mean, for me, the beginning of the year was not. I mean, it was great, but bad. Because I mean, I was born, but then we found out about our heart issue, so we were in the hospital every day for January and February, pretty much.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, the only silver lining to 2020 was my daughter was born. And
yeah.
even then, we had to come back here to the house, and we lived on the upstairs floor before moving to the downstairs floor, because the downstairs neighbor was a piece of shit psycho, who just hated. Quit stomping on the JD floor, you son of a bitch! Like, who the fuck is you talking to? Oh, hold on. So it became something.
Let me get my clogs, bitch.
Oh god.
Guess
Right.
what? Irish step dancing.
He's in jail now, so fuck him. No, for real, because the weekend, because my wife's grandfather passed away, so we said, all right, well, we're gonna go spend a week with her father, because I was technically furloughed from work. She didn't have a job, and we had 2 kids, so let's just go on there. We'll spend a week with him, because it was his father that passed away, so he was real close to his daddy, so we decided to stay down there a week. The week we were gone down south to her father's house, the dude that used to live in this apartment was arrested for 2 counts rape, 2 counts sodomy, and 2 counts of false imprisonment in this apartment.
Where? Whoa.
And
So,
you're living there now?
wow.
Hey,
So like no kidnapping charges?
um, I I don't know. I just know he's in jail. He ain't never getting out. He coming back to this motherfucker. I don't give a shit how much shit he
I
left
hope
here.
he's got a noisy upstairs cellmate. Like I hope there's someone up there and he's just quiet motherfucker and he just gets to that broom handle. He's gonna get the broom
Right?
handle.
No
Rapist?
doubt. No doubt.
Speaking of broom handle, I was watching
They
SVU
don't
earlier, and just kidding.
Uh,
Never
do you guys anybody here go on
right
TikTok
here.
ever?
I love
That
TikTok.
No.
guy
Dude,
right
they're
there. That
no.
guy right there.
prison TikTok. You get all these dudes that come out of jail and they get verified for shit, and then they go on and they tell you what it's like in prison
Yes.
for real. And they're like, yeah, dude, that's all bullshit. This is all bullshit. But they're like, if you're a rapist, they know, everybody knows, the guards will tell everyone, you're fucking marked.
Yeah,
You're
like
done. And it's like, yeah, dude, that's how the justice the justice system
yeah,
works with that
yeah.
right there.
Pedophiles don't do too well in prisons.
No.
Yeah,
Um,
that was one. I
No.
think it was an episode of Law and Order SVU, and I assume that it's real life situations because all of them are based on true stories. Um,
Dude, you're not
they walk in as like,
Yeah.
hey, the inmate that he killed in Central Booking, he had friends. He was just stabbed to death in the yard of Rikers. He was only there like 20 minutes. Oh, so that's how they do. Okay, couldn't happen to a nicer guy,
Listen, I was in
go no, go ahead.
sorry.
I was gonna double back to another
I was in a
question, but
criminal
finish
justice.
your
Oh, I was gonna say when I was a kid, when I was 17, I was in this criminal justice program at my high school, and we were like, oh, they're like, hey, we're gonna go visit this prison, and I'm like, oh, that looks really cool, man. That sounds like an awesome thing, in case you want to be like a corrections officer or something. And we're getting led through, and then all of a sudden it gets on lockdown because there's pencils and stuff missing, and we get walked into this classroom full of inmates, and I'm the only dumb shit that walks into a classroom full of inmates at 17 years old in regular clothes, and they're like, dude, you don't know how many dudes watched your ass when you walked out. I'm like, fucking god damn it.
Oh Lord Jesus, man.
Mhm.
So
So,
were
that was
you?
my
Well, hold on a minute.
prison
So
story.
were you flattered or were you scared?
Scared, dude. Are you kidding me? I was like, I went and
Just
hid in the
saying.
crowd. I'm like, man, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't want to learn anything about this. I don't ever want to go to jail. I don't want to work in a jail. Like, fuck this. No way. It's the belly of the beast. Like I'm a nice guy. I don't have that's why I struggle being a dad, because sometimes I like the disciplinarian stuff. I'm like, no, that's funny. That's hilarious. Why would I discipline this? And then I'm like, oh wait, I have to discipline that
right.
kid. Like I'd be a terrible correction. I'd be a terrible police officer. I'd be like oh dude, fuck that. Like no, give that to responsible people.
Right?
Um,
I mean,
so earlier, Drew, you mentioned that when you left the army, you joined NASA. I want to talk a little bit about NASA, or I guess there was probably some things that you signed. You can't talk too much about it, right? No, no, good. All right.
Did
So,
they fake the moon landing?
Moon landing,
That's-
fake or real? Come on.
real, very real.
Okay.
The
Very
first
real.
one was fake, though, right? Come on. Neil Armstrong said that shit was fake.
No.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he
You
did.
work in media. You work in media.
Come
How
on.
can you believe that?
Because
No, it's absolutely real. I'll tell you the first time, the first day I got there, before I became an intern, I was introduced to these two guys, Steve and Steve. Steve one worked at NASA since the day one,
oh wow.
in this basement building a reactor. Most of it was built out of car parts. And then Steve 2 started working there in the 70s or 80s. Steve 1, first of all he talked about was aliens and this reactor that he built in this basement, which, by the way, we were in. I was there. I looked at the thing. I was like, you built this thing? He's like, yeah, I'm the only one that can control this. I'm like, Steve, you scare me. I'm not working here. I mean, it's an incredible place. Like you don't realize, like you've got You know the fisheye lens?
Yes.
Yeah, you know like the fisheye view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was invented by Daryl Younger. Daryl Younger, he invented that in the flight lab in the flight because he couldn't look at microscopic parts. He didn't want to have to turn them and break them, so he got a fisheye lens so he could see around them without ever having to touch them. That was invented at NASA by. He was one of my mentors. Like
Nice.
it's and like these are the kind they have these liquid nitrogen tanks in the office, and you have to store it at negative 320 degrees Fahrenheit, which insane amounts of pressure build up. So if you don't have a release valve, these things will explode. So you get used to the idea of working on these microchips and a fish islands, and all of a sudden, just this screaming valve releasing, just break, and you're just like, man, whatever. Like it's a weird life to get used to.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool,
Um,
actually.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, well, I've fucking told
oh,
that story. But
aliens? Yes. No. I mean, I need
Yeah,
to know this
yes,
shit.
He said
yeah,
yes already.
yeah.
No, he's.
Like,
I said the moon landing
No,
first.
oh yeah, I
he-
said aliens too. I
yeah,
said
he said
aliens.
aliens.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, so
I've seen
are
them
they?
myself. Well, I mean, first of all, never at work, but like in my own, but in my own experiences, twice have I stepped outside. Um, fucking both times to smoke a blunt, which is weird, but
I
it's just
think
weird how
that
that
might have
works
something
out.
to do with it.
But it's just like you see it, it's there, and then you're like, oh shit, that's what I think it is, and then no noise, no, it zips away and it's gone, and you're like,
Have
was
you
that?
ever
What's
have
that?
you ever dabbled in DMT?
Never, no.
Would you dabble in DMT?
Maybe after all my kids are grown, anything I do, after my kids are grown up,
Right.
maybe that's when I'll expand again. But for now, I'm
Right.
just
That's dimethyltryptamine for anybody wondering what DMT is.
Yes.
are you,
Oh.
The God particle, if you will.
yeah, I've heard. Oh, no, I just watched this thing on Mike Tyson's first trip on DMT, and he was just talking about like how incredible it was, how his third eye opened right up and everything, and I
Yep.
was like, well, that seems very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
had
in
I
a
had a
place
buddy.
where I'm ready for something like that. Last
I
thing
had
I
a
need
buddy
is
of
my
mine.
third eye to open up and fucking looking at my kids like.
I had a buddy of mine actually try it once.
Mm.
And he's he was he's agnostic. So I was like, okay, so what is he gonna see? Whatever, when he does. He did it. He went on about a 20-minute trip. I wasn't there with him when he's telling me the story. And he told me after he got out of the trip, he just looked at me and he goes, dude, if every single person in the world did DMT, atheism would not exist anymore, because everyone would know that there's something else out there other than humans on this world.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's
Yeah.
that's an interesting concept, because you open your third eye, the pineal gland, which is basically triggers, releases all these different chemicals into the body, and dimethyltryptamine, it's produced in plants, it's produced in our lungs, it's produced in our liver. And I think me and Chip actually had a conversation about it on one of the episodes of The Hauntings of long time ago. Would I try it? I would be hesitant because I would be worried, like, okay, what would I see? And because you don't want a bad trip, because if you have a bad trip and maybe you're going to hell, I don't know. But it might be something to look into. But we did bring that up a minute ago about The Hauntings of, when we did. So are you a believer in the paranormal as well?
I love the pair. Okay, here we go. I forgot about this part and blame it on the weed. Dude, I'm obsessed with it. Like, and not currently, but I've read the books. Especially when they talk about the uh like like frequency, measuring frequencies, like it's just like,
EMFs.
okay, it's cool to see like an energy shift, like, okay, where does this energy come from? Are you near water? Can you debunk this? I love the ability to either debunk or not. That fucking drives me nuts.
Right. Have you actually ever because I know Sean had talked to you recently about a Movement Radio episode, has he talked to you about any of our Hauntings of episodes, and have you listened to any of them yet?
No. Guys, send me the haunting. I want to hear them. I want to hear all of them.
I'm in the
Got
process.
about 25
No.
of them.
I'm in the process of making a Spotify playlist that'll have all of our hauntings of episodes. When I get that finished, I'll send it to you, and
What
you
are
can
we up-
listen to them all.
What state are you up
Um,
to now?
New Hampshire.
just
So we
did,
did
yeah.
all the states. We're doing all the states alphabetically, talking about the most haunted places in the states. Yes. So it's a very surreal dynamic because Talon is a believer and I am a non-believer when it comes to paranormal. And the reason that is a lot of people have, an experience with some kind of paranormal activity. I never have. Everybody told me that when my mother passed away 5 years ago, that's when I would have those, and I never have. So, we go into these episodes and, I find them interesting, but Talon will tell you, I tend to try to debunk every bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Pessimism. Actually, pessimism will. I think there's. Okay, this is weird. This is where I get weird with paranormal stuff. Because when I don't think about it, it's never a part of my life. I never see a damn thing. But when I'm focused on it, that's when the things happen.
Okay.
So Talon, have you had paranormal? You've had paranormal experience.
I believe I had a conversation with a fucking ghost. I
Man,
believe I did.
I've actually
That's
I have consistent paranormal.
Let
stuff.
me go ahead and share my. I've never shared my paranormal
Go ahead,
story
yeah,
on
'cause
any.
I've not heard it.
I haven't either. I've known you all 20 years.
All right, so I was working at the Tennessee Aquarium, downtown Chattanooga.
Chattanooga.
And-
I love that place.
Yeah, it's where I live, basically. Well, I live in Rossville. You might as well say Chattanooga because I'm just over the state line.
Okay.
But anyway, where the aquarium sits, if you go behind the aquarium, excuse me, there's a little smoking area where, because back then I used to smoke. So I'm sitting there smoking, and this big black dude came around the corner wearing army fatigues. He sat down next to me and he was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" I'm like, "Hey man, how's it going?" He goes, "You got an extra cigarette on you?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I gave the guy a cigarette. I didn't hand it to him. I put it down next to him and he picked it up, right? I asked him, what his name was. He said his name was Reggie. He was just coming, he was just coming home, to see some family. I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. We talked for maybe a few more seconds. And all of a sudden he says, I didn't hear jack shit, but he said, "Hey, I got to go, man. Thank you for the cigarette." I'm like, "Hey man, no problem." Turned the corner. Now it was about 2:45. It was time for me to go back to work. So I got up and turned the corner and he's gone. I don't see no hide, no hair of this guy anywhere. I'm thinking to myself, he must have ran pretty quick. Okay, cool. I didn't pay no never mind about it. A couple of weeks later, we had some newspapers that for whatever reason, we just accumulate newspapers over and over and over, right? So we were taking these newspapers, we were throwing them. Well, I grabbed one of them and the twine broke on the newspaper and newspapers just went the fuck everywhere. I'm like, typical Talon. So I go to pick some stuff up and I picked up one paper and I was looking and I actually picked it up on the obituaries. And I'm looking and I see this guy's face. Reginald Jermaine Elgin. And I was like, huh. And my buddy Robert looked at me like, "What's going on, man?" I'm like, "Dude, this is freaky, dude, because I just had a conversation with this guy 2 weeks ago." He goes, "Talon, there's no way in hell you had a conversation with this guy 2 weeks ago." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Dude, that paper is from May. We're in December." Oh, fuck you. And I threw the shit in the garbage and I started walking. I was like, oh, hell no. Immediately I was like, I had a conversation with a ghost. There's no other way to explain it. It was just freaky because he said his name was Reggie. Didn't even think anything about it. And I think Reginald, it looked just like him too. And I was like, and I've tried to find this, research, try to find this dude and everything, nothing. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? That's when I was convinced right there, there's ghosts among us. If not ghost, angels and demons disguising themselves, because I believe my son had a paranormal experience and he didn't know about it. I'll give you another example. My son's 3 years old and he's in his room. This was back when we were living with my parents.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You cut off again. This is
Drew's
gonna be
all
so-
intent. Yes, this episode is going to be great. Drew's all intent, like, yes, yes, yes. Oh, I can't hear shit.
I want to know, man. I want to know what the hell is going on with this kid and the ghost.
Okay.
There we
My
go.
son-
Nice.
My son's 3 years old. My son's 3 years old. He's in his room laughing his ass off. So I go in the room. I figure out, okay, what's he laughing at? Oh, he must be laughing at something on the TV. I walk in the room. His TV's off. I'm thinking, okay, Caroline, what the fuck you laughing at? I look at him. I'm like, Malachi, what are you laughing at? He points to a rocking chair and he says, Jack. And I look at the rocking chair. Rocking chair ain't moving. Nothing. The rocking chair's empty. There's nothing in the rocking chair. And he starts busting out laughing again. The rocking chair that's in his room was given to us, me and my wife, by her uncle Jack, who had passed away when Malachi was 2 years old. Though literally a year before, And I was like, dude, get your ass up. You sleeping in the bed. Come on. We're getting the fuck out of this room, But I believe I wouldn't necessarily it's ghost. It's more angels and demons, And I believe that both angels and demons can present themselves in a way that we would either view it as ghosts, especially with certain things. Like, I went on a ghost hunt in Resaca many, many moons ago where people be taking pictures and shit. And one picture that I took, just by the way, and I don't know if it was the glare or the orbs or it's a dust particle. According to TAPS, everything's a damn dust particle.
Listen to TAPS.
Yeah, right. But just some of the pictures that you would take, most of them, they look sinister as hell, but that's just, I don't know if it's because of the way that it's just conformed, or the way the light was hitting it or whatever, but you see some really weird shit, but that was my experience, Now, if Chip ever had an experience like that, then obviously he's a non-believer, so he won't believe. And when we started doing these hauntings, it wasn't for me to convince him that ghosts are real. And it wasn't for him to try to convince me that they're not. It was basically two sides of the coin coming together and just exploring these, because whether you believe or you don't.
What's happening? He's when he gets excited, he blows out his mic. He
Yes.
he makes it. He's got to come back a little bit.
Yeah.
So he's not blowing out his mic when
Oh,
he gets too
trust-
excited.
This is him all the time. He can't hold back on the blowing up the mic.
That's the ADHD portion of him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Once he gets started, it's impossible to stop him.
That's even in person.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But we wouldn't we wouldn't
Go
have
ahead.
him any other way.
Social security
Go ahead.
number.
No, we're waiting for you to finish your story.
Why finish the story? It's going to cut me off the moment I finish it.
God,
Well-
every time I get excited, I'm done.
Yeah.
He's a tease. He's a
Hey,
tease.
So okay,
This is the
Roger,
worst
what's
episode
your-
I've
I
ever
wanna hear
done
Roger's
because I'm
paranormal.
horrible. I'm
I
horrible.
want to hear Roger's paranormal.
I've had them my whole life, like literally my whole life. I believe I get it from my mom's side, because my mom has had experience. My aunts had experiences. My grandmother, before she passed, has probably had some.
Sensitive, like all sensitive.
Yeah, we have different ways. My mom has more of like a premonition kind of thing. Me and her share a dream. When somebody dies, we lose our teeth the night of before they die. Yeah, it's extremely horrible. But I've had it ever since I was little, and I never knew what it was. So when I was little, my parents divorced, so I didn't live with my mom for a while. I didn't know she had these dreams too. And one day, when I finally start living with her, she actually tells me about she woke up, weirded out one day, and I was like, "What happened?" And she's like, just had this bad dream." And I was like, "Oh, me too." And I was like, "My teeth fell out, and it's weird." And she looked at me like, "Your teeth fell out?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she I had the exact same dream. And it was like one of her friends or something like that, like somebody she knew that she had worked with close or something like that had passed away, without us knowing. And so that was one thing. I see shadow people a lot. Um, I hear my name called by mimics, people who mimic voices that I know. So like my mom, the kids.
Audibly, you
Yeah,
audibly hear them.
yeah. And it would be just like that's why I'm not afraid to stay by myself, but usually like always have something by my side just in case.
Bro, I
uh
wouldn't be
You
alone
gonna do
if it was that.
pop a cap and a ghost?
If it was that constant, I wouldn't be alone because like I get it every now and then where like someone says my name and I'm like fucking stop. Like I
yeah.
hate that.
The worst is when I'm like when I lived in Knoxville, and we would go to like stuff on the weekend and we'd park in the parking garage, I'd hear my name at late at night, just walking through a dark parking lot or parking garage and just hear my name. And not even like loud, it'd be whispered like somebody like right there next to me. And I'm just like, well, I guess I'm gonna die, so just keep walking. You know, it's either my time or
Chilling
not.
just fine. I'm used to that.
Yeah. So
Hair
no,
standing up.
no, shadow people, I see them a lot, or shadow figures, whatever people want to call them. I mean, they never done anything to me, so I'm not really afraid of them. I've learned it's weird. When I was little, I learned to surpass sleep paralysis, so I don't get sleep paralysis. So when I wake up in the middle of the night, in my like my arms won't move, but I'm able to move my fingers and my toes very easily, so I'm able to grab stuff, and that's how I can like sustain myself. And I don't have like the sleep demons or anything like that, but I constantly see like the shadow figures when they're moving, like through me, pretty much. Um, my aunt's house when we were little was
Is this every
supremely
day?
no, not every day. I haven't had sleep. I actually haven't had it that probably in 2 years now, probably 2 or 3 years, close to now. Um, but yeah, when I was little, my aunt's house was supremely haunted. Like the thing that always sticks by me, I was like 9. I was so she has a house that's 2 rooms with a like 2 floors with a basement. The basement I went in one time. That's all I ever had to do. Can't go back in there ever again. Um, so they had it was 2 rooms upstairs, 2 rooms downstairs. I'm in the one closest to the bathroom, so people would go by and I'd hear them all the time at night. Well, there's one time, like I just wake up in a fog and I hear something, and it sounds like somebody's coming down the stairs. Well, it's actually like a ball bouncing down the stairs, and it's like 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm like, okay, somebody may have kicked it when they were going to the bathroom, whatever. Well, then I'm just sitting there and I just feel like really weird, a cold chill and everything. So I'm just like sitting there and my back's away from the door. So it's like if I'm awake, somebody can't see me being awake. And then I just hear the ball bouncing up the stairs. And then it just goes into a room. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm not sleeping here anymore. Um, there would always like we would take pictures and there would be like black smoke or white orbs all around all the time, no matter what.
Where was this in Knoxville?
This one was actually when my aunt was living in Inglewood. I don't even know if the house still stands there or not. I don't even know what happened to that house. It got to the
Probably
point.
best.
It got to the point where my aunt literally had a exorcism on the house. She had somebody actually come through, rosaries and like oil and everything for a day. Like they would stay there. Like she sold the house like a week after. Like it was, you could feel how bad the energy was in there. Like it was horrible. Like
Mhm.
me and my cousins would always stay outside. We would never want to go inside.
I lived in one house like that. I've only ever lived in one house like that, dude, and it was middle
Horrible.
of the woods in Brandywine, Maryland, and you're like, it was,
Yeah, that's why I don't want to.
the
I don't want a house
process.
that's in the like too far in the country or anything like that because I'm
Mhm.
always afraid of like something being really bad there. Um, I'm trying to think of
This
what
was
else.
right around the corner where John Wilkes Booth plotted the assassination of Abraham Lincoln at the Mud House.
Oh
Oh,
This is
wow.
where
jeez.
it
Oh
was.
shit!
It's a lot. There's a lot of bad energy in that spot, anyways.
I bet
Which also the rapper R&B artist Genuine, he was one of our neighbors.
that's cool.
There was
Interesting.
that, but that was the only cool thing about the town.
No, like I feel like I don't know. I'm very sensitive to the stuff, and like I can hear, like I say, I hear the stuff. I see a lot of this shadow figures and everything. Like I want to go. I really do want to go on like actual paranormal, I guess searches or hunts, whatever they call them nowadays.
Yeah. Yes.
Um, like There's a few places I don't go. I won't go. I was telling Chip about this because we got Discovery Plus, and I've been watching Ghost Adventures religiously again.
I
But
need to get back on it, dude.
I forgot. I don't even know how far they have gone, but they're still like pumping out episodes even to this day.
Yeah.
Like the
And they
last,
got Nick back too, I think.
yeah, like the last episode I saw, they actually did the Comedy House, the Laugh House in L.A. And like that place is apparently extremely haunted because it was owned by the mob.
Comedy Store or the Laugh Factory?
Comedy Store, that's what it was.
Yeah.
The Comedy
We talked
Store?
about that
Comedy.
on our
Oh my God.
Hauntings
I'm
of
working.
California episode.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
working with 2 people from the Comedy Store in the next 2 months.
Awesome.
Nice.
Oh, that is
Awesome.
awesome. But yeah, like I'm just like I can when I go places I can feel like you could tell like when I go somewhere like I don't want to be there, it's because is there something bad like either about to happen or stuff like that. I don't like it's always been one of those things. Um I don't like I've been super sensitive. I think my grandmother on my dad's side was also sensitive to it, but she was like she sort of looked native from like my family's from Colombia, so she looked like one of the natives from there. She had like the long hair, the skin and everything like that. And she like practiced religion like a lot, and like she had like the cross and she would do like the chants and everything like that. So I think she was really into it because she would always talk about like bless us every single day, no matter what. So I don't know, like if it's just to protect us from something bad or whatever, but she did that a lot more than like you'd expect somebody religious to do. Um, but no, like my family just has had stuff happen. Like my cousin, when his grandfather died, he had his grandfather met him in his dreams that night before he passed. It's just like our whole family sensitive to it.
I had my best friend meet me in a dream once, and it fucked me up. But no, that's how I got into stand up because I wouldn't use my own name,
Hmm.
and I was like, because I didn't want to do it, especially in my hometown. So I was like, I don't know what name to use, and I was like, I want to use a variation of his name, very close. His name's Deshaun Foster. I went as Sean Foster to start, and I was like, I don't know if I should ever do this. And he came to me in a dream, and just and what he always wore, his white shirt and his blue jeans. He looked at me, he nodded, like say, "Yep, you're good," and left and walked away back through the fire, like through the free there was a red fiery frequency that was there, and it's a frequency that I think that exists anyways, especially when you talk about like the quantum physics when we were talking about paranormal activity. And you see him, I saw him pass through that frequency, and I is like, you know, weird. Also, I think there's a tie, the ADD, ADHD. I think that there is I've never researched this, but I think that there's something about us where we can shut like this certain things off. So if I can't focus, like if I don't want to be bothered by this mental sensitivity, I can shut that shit off and never. But if I want to be sensitive to the shit, I can receive it very easily, and it's very weird how that works.
It is very weird how that works. I've been on both sides of it where it's like, fuck it, I don't want to have anything to do with it, and I'll just walk away. I'm done with it. But then if I get intrigued, I want to focus in on it. That's all I'm focused on. You know, it's no different. I guess that's why I was so good at video games because I could focus on that. And that was, I think, my ADHD was the reason I beat Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Uh, so that, or I stayed up until 5 o'clock in the morning playing Mario Party or Mario 64 or something like that. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, what interest do you have? Of course, we talked about paranormal, we talked about stuff, but just aside from the podcast and aside from all those stuff, what are some of what are some interesting things that you like to do away from the podcasting world?
Um, yeah, I mean it's comedy, uh, stand up, hockey,
Hockey.
Yes.
Oh, hockey solo. Okay.
hockey. I'm actually the set that I'm doing for with this guy Lou Deck. He started the 40 years ago. He started the comedy channel at the Comedy Store, and we have a show together on the 27th of this month. And I'm doing
Awesome.
this whole hockey bit that I've only done like once or twice ever. And it's just I'm excited to bring it out. So I got all my jerseys and shit. It's a layered, so it's a layered joke where I'm taking jerseys and shirts off while I'm telling the jokes. It's so much fun, dude. I can't wait.
Who's your favorite hockey team?
Capitals. I'm here in Washington. I'm here in Virginia, so that's my team.
That's
When I
cool.
was playing when I got out, when I was retired from the military, I got onto the USA Warriors, which is a team for disabled service members and whatnot. And it was a weird experience because it very quickly got moved up to a captain, and then we got the opportunity to start playing with the Chicago Blackhawks, like two two
Wow, that's
times
crazy.
once a year, twice a year. Like we'd go. We had this weird relationship where they eventually bought all of our equipment, and then we'd go to they'd fly us. We'd fly out to Chicago. We'd skate with them before all the pond hockey games, the outdoor games, and then we'd. It was a weird life to live. Even on one of the trips, we got locked in. We got snowed in Chicago, and we got snowed in with the WWE guys. So, all of a sudden you're literally just sitting at the bar with every fucking everybody, and you're like, what is life right now? Like 17-year-old me came twice and just standing there. I was like, what is this? Um, who was it? The Great Khali.
Yeah.
Great Kylie, yeah.
When I stood, I'll never forget. That's the one person I'll never forget standing next to, where I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? You are enormous. It like when I was a kid, when I was a child, I used to ball boy for a college basketball team. So I was used to being around like big people, like 6, 7 foot people. But I saw Kali, and I was like, holy shit, dude! Like his pants, his like when he's sitting down, his pants are up to here, be like almost to his knees because they don't make him that goddamn big. Like it's insane.
Holy
That's
shit.
man, it's just it's weird life. Life has just been weird in general.
I got a quick
Crazy.
question. Who's your favorite new metal band?
New metal. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
Lord, here we go.
Oh.
Hold on, let me get another non-alcoholic beverage because I can't drink for another week, assholes. Hang on.
So, oh, I really love Parkway Drive. Um, Bring Me the Horizon.
Old Bring Me to Horizon or new Bring Me to Horizon?
Old, never
Yeah,
fucking new
yeah,
Bring Me the
yeah. For
Horizon.
Stevie Wonder's eyes only. Bring me to the horizon.
Bro, I mean, Attila, like, Austrian Death Machine. Do you remember You guys remember
Yep.
Austrian Death Machine? There was a whole band created about fucking Arnold. I mean, you're talking like new metal. Like, are you talking about like 3 Days
No.
Grace new metal, like new rock, or new?
Anything from like 1994 Corn to 2004 Linkin Park, I guess would be the best.
All right, dude. I gotta say, my favorite is Slipknot. Corey Taylor, his voice is my favorite voice of all time. Oh man. Embarrassingly, in my time playing music, I spent a lot of time as a musician. Um, and vocally, I found myself mimicking Corey Taylor so badly to where I was like, I'm done. I was already done with me. I hated the scene. I hated where it was going. I hated the life. I was not having fun with it anymore. So I was like, you know what, dude? I have this bad imposter syndrome. I'm cashing all my chicks in. I'm gonna go right for myself, and I'm gonna be a
Right.
comedian. Fuck
Yeah.
this. And
All right. All right. All right. Well,
crazy.
fuck it. I'm gonna do a word association. I'm gonna throw out a new metal band, and you just tell me what you think of the new metal band. Okay. Corn.
What is it? Old.
No.
Old.
Old?
No, like I love Corn, and I see that they're getting Head back.
Now
Like
he's already back.
and
He's been back for a couple albums now. Yeah.
has he
Yeah.
been back for a couple albums? See, that's how fun. Old. I know nothing about Corn anymore. I saw something on TikTok the other day. Head came back. And it was awesome.
What
don't
about?
know
All right. I'll give you one that's a little bit. Okay. What about Limp Bizkit?
Limp Bizkit, that one takes me back to being 16 years old when they were on tour looking for a new guitarist when Wes Borland quit. And they came to Buffalo and they said, people from Buffalo fucking suck at guitar. And then they left.
Oh, Fred Durst's such a
You
dick.
guys are fucking terrible.
Okay.
Okay, but then my
Like Limp Bizkit, so we got roasted by Limp Bizkit. That's how
but
bad
then my
we are.
question becomes, was he wrong?
No, absolutely right. Because fucking like, what's come out of Buffalo? Really like, besides Goo Goo Dolls, that was before that. I mean, STEM, and they do the UFC intro. They're from
Yeah.
Niagara Falls. They're not from Buffalo.
Yeah, yeah.
But and those guys are I fucking love those guys. I've had some crazy fucking times with those guys. Because they do shows everywhere, all over Buffalo. Because they're like, no, like, well, I mean, first of all, they're like, we're not selling out, but like, who the fuck are you gonna sell out to? Because you're okay, but like, your style's old, so it's just not, nobody's gonna buy your shit. You're not marketable. So they realized it, and they just kept that humble nature about them, and they just invite
Nah.
everyone. They party with everyone. They're just good dudes.
The very first time I heard the band STEM wasn't even on the UFC. I mean, I know a lot of people think of STEM, they think of the song face face the
Face the Pain.
pain. Yeah.
Mhm.
First time I actually ever heard them, it was on a website called suicideclothing.com, and they had the song
was it?
Till I Die, and that song was displayed. And I was like,
Yeah.
who the fuck are these guys? You know? And then I had somebody
Yeah.
and then I had somebody tell me, oh, it's Chimera mixed with Scooter Ward from Cold. I'm like, no, the fuck it is. Shut up. You know, like they don't even sound the
Fuck outta
same,
here.
you know? Yeah, I know. So that's
No.
the same thing I said. All right.
No, Lewis, he went all through the lead singer went all through the band
Right.
in different positions.
All right, I got one for you. Flaw. Do you remember the band Flaw?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
have amazing memories. Flaw is heavy on my Iraq soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever I hear The Crow, um, what songs? My letter. Uh, what else? Hole.
Hole,
It's just
yeah.
you hear Hole, and you just hear the pain, like you hear the pain of suicide through the song Hole. Like
Yeah.
I have my fucking hair standing on the back of my neck right
Yeah.
now, dude. Like when I hear that song, my like I literally I'm like like when I
Yeah.
started realizing I could direct when I started listening to Flaw, because their methodical timing mixed with the work that we were doing in overseas. I was like, it was art when the two went
Yeah.
together. Um, especially if you're not paying, like if you're a shitbag and you kept an earbud in and you listen to music while you're on mission, like everybody, like people would do, and you hear these songs while you're doing something intense, and they stick with you. So Flaw sits in my spine.
Yeah. When I first heard the song um Only the Strong Survive, that was the first time I ever heard Flaw, and that was later, and it wasn't until they did the song Whole, but then they did another song that was beforehand. Can't think of the name of it right now. It's the video where they were in the forest. It's back when Chris had the blonde
Yeah.
hair instead of the Davis head.
Oh.
It's gonna stick with my crawl until I figure out what it is. Hold on. I don't know why I didn't think of it. I got my trusty handy dandy smartphone here. I could just look it up real quick.
It's where they're
Right.
painted. They're all fucking painted and screaming while the chick's running through the woods.
Yes,
Um,
that's the one.
uh,
Matter of fact, hold on. I think I got it here. Payback.
Payback. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Payback. Yeah, that was the one that I had heard.
You
Actually,
almost
my
went-
favorite. Yeah,
you went
actually,
for
my
the
favorite
Tap
song by
route?
them. Oh God, they only really had like 4 songs that I cared for, honestly. Um, like I wasn't like Poem. I think Poem was the one that I think all of us remember.
Yeah.
And then there was the latest song that they had was Everything I Said Was True, was that one. But then they also had Mine, and then
Mine. That's what it was. Yeah.
yeah, Mine was another one. Mine was just like it sounds like he's bored singing instead of depressed singing. Like, like it sounds like he's just bored singing it. I don't know.
I just think he's not that good. Like his voice is so easy to like you can just fucking, like,
Yeah. Yep.
I had this dude Jeff. He used to this band. I used to fuck around with this band here in 2011 called Tapered Mind. Jeff used to go on tour with Taproot, and the second he went, he used to have the left-handed Dimebag Darrell guitar. And the second he left, it was like, stay the fuck
Oh,
away, dude.
wow.
Like Taproot's not that good, and you weren't that great to begin with. So go on tour, get the fuck out of here. You're good.
All right, I got another one for you. This one's going to cause some controversy
Oh Lord.
between my co-host. System of a Down.
Gold.
Can you say that again?
Gold. They're amazing.
Oh, one more time, please. One more time.
I fucking love. All right. Where do we start? Toxicity, the album, or do we go even before that? I mean,
Oh,
Start with the self-titled album.
all right. God, so
Sugar.
spiders. We have spiders right there. That doesn't make your skin crawl when you hear spiders. Just the fuck is how simple. No, Darren
Terrible.
is a garbage fucking guitarist. I think for what he is, and this is, I remember hearing Darren talk about interviews a lot, and he's like, learning how to play guitar. It was I would play songs, and then when it came to the lead, I would make up my own. And I was like, well, shit, I used to do that too because I didn't know how to play the fucking lead. I wasn't that good. I was fucking terrible. I know what you're doing. I know what it is bullshitting. So I think he's got a good time signature and he's got skill, but when it really comes down to it, he's just
He's no Marty Friedman, if that's what you mean. Or Dimebag or any of the other great guitar players.
Tom Morello.
Tom Morello, yeah.
Tom Morello so bad. Like that dude is a genius.
You seem a little upset there, Chip. What's going on?
I'm not upset. I just think that System of a Down is terrible. It's my personal opinion. You can have your own opinion. It might be wrong, but you can have your own opinion.
I think mine's right.
One thing I appreciate about them, especially if you listen to the song "Prison," like they break it down for our generation exactly statistically. Hey, fuckers, we are a nation built on prison complexes that holds over 25% of the world population of prisoners. Like, there's a fucking issue here, and people are making money off of you being a prisoner. Have you guys ever visited someone in jail
Yes.
before?
Yeah.
And
I
you
never
guys-
have.
You ever sent them? You ever gave them money?
No.
No.
And a whole. I have. My brother has been in jail. We don't talk. He's a garbage bag in my eyes. I just don't have a lot of nice things to say.
I understand my
about
father's the same way.
him. So
Yeah.
mine. So this dude, he had guilted me into giving him money, and to send him even $40 cost me over $80.
Yep.
You know, the price of inflation in prison systems are just atrocious, and it's robbery. And that's one of those things that I really appreciate System of a Down for was really pinpointing those flaws in our political system, in the scientific system, with the religious. They questioned everybody, and they didn't do it on the nose the way Eminem did it, or the way Marilyn Manson did it. I love the way that they did it. Like, I think it lacked a lot of skill, but it had the marketability, and that's why I love System. They fought just a bunch of Armenian dudes that met in the studio, and just sort of like, hey, you play in a band, I play in a band, let's get together and make some music. It worked. It fucking worked, man.
One of my favorite songs on the Toxicity album is the song "Science," and you think the song it's going to be about science, but no, like science has failed our world, since science has failed Mother
Spirits flow
Earth.
through me. Spirits flow through me.
Yeah, but
You've got to take.
I mean, I'm not going to
but
go that far.
Stop, Roger. We don't have the money to
gotta
pay the
take
rights
it-
for that.
I'll pay for it.
Yeah, man.
There's a line that comes.
I
with
hope
that
you got
song
some
that
good
hits
money.
deeply, because when you
Go
talk
ahead. I'm
about
sorry.
it's especially in the scientific world, it's fucked a ton. But at the same time, a lot of it comes from the result of should we have done that rather than is science good or bad? It's should we have done that specifically?
Yeah.
Right.
Especially when you're talking about like dropping an atom bomb. That's where that was the last resort. Or the Roosevelt, they all felt like they had nothing out there. Like we're done fighting this shit. Just let them know we mean fucking business. I'm done. That's where science fucked us. And now we'll look at who's now North Korea's parading them around. Now you got North Korea. If they fired one, they'd be like, oh fuck, now we're even way more bankrupt and fucked. So obviously they're bullshitters, anyways.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, man, that song is I cannot thank System enough for opening our generation's eyes to the hypocrisies and the issues in the world.
All right. Well, that being said, I got one more band that I'm going to throw it at you, and you could consider this band new metal, but they are more modern in today's world, and they're a band that are very, 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 very big supporters of the troops and of the military, and that's Five Finger Death
Five Finger
Punch.
Death
How do you
Punch.
feel? How do you feel about them?
I've met Ivan. I think he's a nice guy. Uh, I was really into them. 2010 and 11, loved their music. I fell off of them around right after Wrong Side of Heaven. Which that song's a masterpiece. What's the other one? Far From Home.
Yeah, Far
There's
From
a
Home. Yeah,
that
but
that
I think Far From Home was on War's the Answer. I think.
yeah, it was. It
Yeah.
was. Yeah, that was. Fuck, that was a huge. I think that was their biggest album, anyways. I mean, that just had
I
that.
I'm partial to American Capitalist. My opinion. I think American Capitalist is their best album.
I mean, that's fair. I could see that. I don't. I fell off of them only because I was, or I guess, bored. I didn't really.
Right.
I don't know. Like Avenged Sevenfold. Avenged Sevenfold. I was diehard Avenged Sevenfold. Like in I while I don't listen to them anymore, I still have this weird loyalty to them. But Five Finger Death Punch, I'm like, oh yeah, I used to listen to. It's like yeah, I went through a Nickelback phase. Yeah, I went through a horror phase back in my phase. But like, you know what I'm saying? But I
Nickelback
got
has a
through it.
diamond route album. Roger, shut your face.
Doesn't matter. To trash.
You can't be trash if you have a diamond album.
You can be trash. You have a diamond album.
We debate this a lot.
we when we do our rock retrospective of Nickelback, they'll be arguing the whole damn time.
It will never happen.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
I
Just
can't
because I'm gonna
thank
make it
Nickelback.
happen.
Nickelback changed my life.
Let's hear this story.
Nickelback changed my life, guys.
Did it make you not
Check
be a
this out.
Chad?
No. Check this out. No, watch. Listen, here's what's happening. I was on Spotify. No, Pandora. It was 2015. I just got done living in my car. I was at the very end of it. Smoking a bowl one night, and Nickelback comes on the radio. I didn't know it was them at first. The song, and this is the first time I'm ever telling anybody this story, because it's fucked up. But it's okay. So the song "A Million Miles an Hour" came on.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was baked, and I was like, oh shit, this is fun. This is fun. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, wait, you could write a movie around all of this. And then I started writing this movie about this song, Million Miles an Hour from Nickelback. Fast forward a year and a half, I'm into writing, into doing stand-up. I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to write this fucking movie, but I'm going to go to school so I can learn how to do it right. And because of Nickelback and wanting to write this movie, I went to school and got a college degree. So, Nickelback, I owe him something for that. I didn't follow. I was like, man, fuck that. After 2 months, I was like, that movie's fucking stupid. I got better ideas now. But like, they were the catalyst. They're the one. The point I was sitting around broke, and I was like, I gotta do something. And I was like, I gotta go back to school or something. And I was smoking a joint, and that song came on again. And I was like, you know what? This is what we're gonna do. And ever since, I've been. This is what I do now. This is what it's brought me. and I'm happier than I've
That's
ever fucking
awesome,
been.
dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You
Thanks,
said
Nickelback.
you said it was the Catalyst. I know I said one more band, but fuck it, I gotta throw another one out there. Linkin Park.
I mean, come on. Uh, wow, they came out when I was 2000, man. I was working at Burger King. Bro, they fuck it, crawling. You heard crawling, and you're like, what is this? And then people are like, no, check out this album, Hybrid Theory. And everyone's listening to it. You see everyone on break. They're like, you're like, what are you listening to? Like Linkin Park. What do you listen to? Linkin Park. Like, "Dude, what the fuck is that? You listen to it, and you're like, what the fuck did they do to music? And then they're in. I put them in my yearbook with I think Nickelback. It's my favorite bands in 2000. So I felt, man, I loved it. I loved Linkin Park. Meteora, that album. I didn't like it anything. I hated the reanimations. They're fucking. I no interest. But the first two albums, Meteora and Hybrid Theory, those are also in my DNA. Nothing else.
A Thousand Suns is good.
Yeah, their last album holds a special spot for me. And Talon and I have talked about this numerous times. But if you listen to their very last album, it's literally Chester's Suicide Note.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
fucking what?
Yeah.
All right, I'm back in on this.
Which one is that one?
One More Light.
One More Light. That's the one
Yes.
right after. What was the one right before that? Was it God? No, it wasn't God's the King. Of the
No,
World.
No, right
the
before
hunting
that
party.
was
The hunting party.
yeah, the hunting
The
party.
Hunter Party. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
What's the album?
It's called One More Light.
One
That's
More
the
Light.
name
Yeah.
of the album.
One More
Yeah.
Light. Okay,
it's the
I
it's
got
the
it.
only
Alright,
it's the only Linkin Park album that's classified as a pop record and not a rock record. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actual pop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Really the one song that was like a single or whatever that they had was, well, One More Light, obviously, but the song that really sold the album was the song called Heavy. And that song, you listen to it and you literally feel emotion in this song. And it's almost as if, because you know the aftermath of what happened, knowing, holy shit, why
Well,
couldn't we see it when we heard it? You know what I mean?
well, look at the titles of the songs. Nobody Can Save Me, Good Goodbye, Talking to Myself, Battle Symphony, Invisible, Heavy, Sorry for Now, Halfway Right, One More Light, and Sharp Edges.
yeah.
Man,
Uh,
that's a fucking weird. Well, he died. That came out in 2017.
yes.
Mhm.
That's the year he died too.
Yeah.
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 Uh,
He died. Let's see. One More Light came out in May of 2017.
He died the
And
next month. He died
correct.
June. I remember. I was doing stand up that night. It was the night I fucking. God, this is weird.
Yeah.
This is the first night I ever killed doing stand up.
Um,
Come to think of it.
So I recommend that album to a lot of people, even if they're not Linkin Park fans, because there's a lot of the lyrics that can help people. Like if you actually listen to them, it can help you through a lot of shit. You know,
Yeah.
um, the title track, One More Light. The chorus is like, hold on, I'm gonna look it up because I don't want to fuck you over on something that's good.
Grew up a
We
verb,
do,
and I'm
we,
not
do- we, we
listening
do
to
a lot
I'm
of
not
on the
listening to
spot
a single
research here.
note on this song.
Say what?
Let's screw up a verb, and I'm not going to listen to a single note on this album.
That's right. That's right. No, some people are like that. They're like, well, you said it was what's this, and it wasn't. So fuck
Yeah,
you.
cut those people out of your life because they'll
Uh,
just drag you down.
right.
Hmm.
But the chorus is, if they say, "Who cares if one more light goes out in the sky of a million stars? It flickers, flickers. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we have, if a moment is all we are, who cares if one more light goes out? Well, I do. And tell them to tell you, I reach out to a lot of people. There's a real good friend of ours. His name's Chris, and I won't say his last name because I don't know if he wants his business out there. But he deals with a lot of depression and stuff, and so I try to reach out to him about once a week or so. You know, hey man, how are you doing, and stuff like that. You know, just to let him know that somebody actually cares about him, because he will post a lot of stuff on Facebook and social media about, you know, if today was his last day, nobody would care. And
So there, ooh, now
yeah,
even when you're positive, does he still?
no, 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 no. Like, so when you know, when I reach out to him, he's like, "Hey, man, you know, I mean, I appreciate you checking on me. You know, I'm doing better and everything." Like, he's very receptive of it.
That's
Um, so,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, late last year, one of our good friends, Drew, passed away unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Just out of the blue. Like, I had talked to him like 2 days prior. I got a phone call on a Friday morning. It was like, "Hey, Drew, Drew died last night," and I was like, bullshit. No, don't be fucking with me. You know, like I just talked to him, and they're like, no, he, you know, got up to go to the
Yeah.
bathroom, fell out, and they couldn't resuscitate him, and he was done. And that was, aside from my when my mother passed, that was probably the hardest I took anyone passing. Um, and I think it was more like, I understand everybody has their time, and when their number's called, it's time to go. Like, I understand that, but I think what like fucked with me the most is, so he passed on a Friday. On Monday afternoon, I got a phone call that says, "Hey, um, we need you to come dig Drew's grave."
Yeah.
And so we literally had to go and hand dig his grave because the cemetery where he was buried didn't allow heavy machinery in. It was a very private cemetery, and you have to hand dig the graves there. So there was, telling, what was it, about 10 or 15 of us,
About
maybe,
15 of us. Yeah. That was 15 of
uh,
us.
and we're, you know, until it was probably 11 o'clock at night, hand digging.
It was after midnight.
Um,
No, it was after midnight.
was it?
Yeah, it was
Um,
after.
but yeah, hand digging a grave. So and then, you know, we had the funeral. Um, and we lowered his casket, and then we had to put the dirt on him and actually bury him. So, you know, like I say, aside from when my mother passed, that was probably the hardest death that I've had to deal with, and I think it was more because of everything that kind of was wrapped in
the
with it.
practice that goes with it.
Yes.
Yes.
The
Yeah. And then, yeah.
there's a weird there's an impersonal level it seems like we've gotten to, especially with passing, because we do hand the responsibility off now to the funeral homes and to the crematoriums, and it's very much like, here, take care of this, let me know when it's finished, now to where like you go to Alaska and there's places where that's all they do. That's where they hand bury. They rewind our clock to 150 years, and most homes had parlors in them, specifically designed with coffin doors that you could bring a body in, because death was so common. You know, you put it on that grand piano, the box grand, put a coffin up there, hold your ceremony, get the out, and that's in your house because it was so common. There's a weird intimacy, and it's sad and both beautiful when you have to arrange anything for anybody close to you passing. And it's always sad at the beginning, but the the people that you were able to kind of do that with, did you guys find yourselves closer at all, or like bonding through that experience? Because that is, that's not, you're not going out there to work. You're out there with a real purpose.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did find myself, you know, and you know, like I genuinely will check on, like, I have a list that I keep next to my computer of everybody that was there that night, and I genuinely like send them messages and say, "Hey man, how are you doing?" And I will send his ex-wife a message and say, "Hey, how are you doing? Is there anything I
Ex-wife or
can do
widower?
for you?"
Widow?
They were split up when he passed. They were
Okay.
still they were still married, but they were amicably split.
Yeah.
Um, dude, the fact that you kept that list, first of all, meant that I think you understood the whole importance of it long, like before probably most people ever did. Did anybody else keep a list? Do you know?
I don't know, um, personally.
Yeah.
I've not
Pretty
even that
special to do
it's
that.
yeah, it's not even a question that I've asked. Like Talon will tell you, I'm the type of person that uh I'm 100% a giver, uh mentally, physically, emotionally. Um I'm the I'm the guy who does all the favors for people, and I
He has a very mob like mentality, and
Mob
I mean,
mentality. Do
you
that
favors,
know,
but don't ask for them.
do
I
favors but don't ask for him.
I
Yeah.
it it pains me when I 100% have to ask for help. Um, and I think it was kind of my upbringing, maybe, um, because so I told you earlier, like my dad, we're not on talking terms. If he was
With
on
you.
fire, if he was on fire next to me, I'd piss the other way, 100%. Like it's that bad. Um, you know, uh, so and I think it was because at a young age I had to learn how to fend for myself, um, and everything. So at 15 I was working a full time job, going to school full time, paying 100% of the bills full time just to help my mom out and everything. So I'm very much that you know I do all the favors, and it's hard for me to accept when somebody tries to do something for me because I'm like, no, 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 man, I got this. You know, it's I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah. He's even like that with the podcast. I'll be like, hey, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And he's like, I got it. I'm like, bro, you can't do everything. I know this is half mine. Let me help you. Now it's three quarters mine because now Roger's involved now. So
That's
You mean
fine.
there's
you mean
nothing wrong
a,
with
a
Three.
delegating.
third?
No, you heard him. You heard him. 3/4.
There's nothing wrong with delegating.
You heard what he said.
But
No, delegating is huge,
I was looking
man.
this one thing up while he was talking. It was something that was out of the blue for me because I wasn't expecting it. When we were talking about Drew a minute ago, back on the 2nd of January, I had won a championship at RCW, and a lot of people were commenting on it. And the one person that commented was Rebecca Jermaine Daniel, which is his daughter.
No, that's his mom.
Oh, is Rebecca Jermaine? Oh, that is his mom.
Rebecca
Okay.
Jermaine Daniel
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
his mom.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's his mom. I'm sorry. And it says, "Way to go." It says, "Keep pushing forward. I know Drew would have been proud of you. He loved you." And as soon as I read that, like it hit me so hard when that happened. And I just told her back. I just sent her back. I said, "I miss him so much. Thank you so much." And she just said hugs and emoji of a heart. But yeah, that hit me because it's like, okay, at least because my when I first met Drew, like we had a match and I knew it was the shits, because it was like my third match, but he was like, "Don't worry, kid," patted me on the head. "I got you. Don't worry about it." And then I think I wrestled him like so many times after that. I remember the one match that sticks out to me. Me and Chip actually wrestled him and our buddy Ray in I think it was La Follette, Tennessee. Um, and that was a match that I remember more so from the fact that uh it was a match that we were supposed to be the good guys, but it ended up getting flipped on us, and we were the bad guys at some point. And I was like, "What the hell happened? When did this turn?" And then Drew was like, "Oh well, you gotta play the role. Come on."
Proud.
Um, huh?
Was it like the crowd? Like, were they like,
They
we
just
don't
turned on us for whatever reason. Like we were trying to be the good, white meat baby face. Yay, let's go, people! And then after about 2 minutes, when it wasn't working, we was like, you know what, fuck this, And he's like, I'll take heat. I don't give a shit, So nah, man, so many great stories about him, man. He was just Drew was that guy that he wasn't gonna lie to you, and he would be straight up with you, but he wouldn't be a dick about it. He would just tell you straight up, and he was such a mentor, like kind of like how me and Chip and people from our generation had, people that looked up to. The younger generation looked to Drew for guidance, and we looked to Drew for guidance as well. But for the younger ones, Drew was like, this dude's awesome. Like this is the guy he was almost like the Godfather in a sense. He was just, he was the guy that everybody went to for advice or, mentorship, and there was no other person at that time who was worthy of that, because so many people just respected him and loved him. There's not a day goes by that I don't think about him, either a funny joke he said or a wrestling story or the funny stories he'd tell about Marty Jannetty, because for whatever reason he loved telling the story about Marty Jannetty for some reason. I think Marty Jannetty and Gary Busey having a conversation.
You know what? These are the moments that keep his memory alive. When you get to tell those those little quirks that he loved to tell this story.
Yeah.
And then another huge thing is after that long road after, while you're in that grieving period, is people like the friends still reaching out to let his mother know, like, hey, we're still here, like we haven't forgotten about him, and we all still love you guys, and we still think about you guys. um that's been the hardest, one of the weirdest things. Like, I didn't understand that part about grieving until my wife lost her father, and nothing in the world anyone could do could help anything, no matter what. No thoughts, no prayers, no sending positive vibes, energy. There's nothing you can do. What do you make a meal for him? And then you say, hey, maybe we could take something off your plate and let's help out somewhere. We got your back. If you need anything, let us know. But like that, but like those people that still reach out even a year later, that are like, hey, just letting you know, we're thinking about your dad. We loved him. Today would have been a big day. So like, it's those are huge for her. So like for his mom, I guarantee, like when you guys reach out and do that for her, those probably make her day. Like we could never comprehend.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still people. It's been 5 years since my mom passed, and I still get, not as often as before, but still, I get those, hey, how's it going? How are you doing? Do you need anything? Kind of deal. Hey, we loved your mom
That's
and all that.
amazing.
Yeah.
After 5 years, because they understand the pain doesn't go away.
You
It
just
doesn't.
find it never goes away. You just kind of find a way to, for lack of a better term, you can just kind of find a way to deal with it, you know,
You
or
find a way to
cope.
live with that new reality.
Yep. Yeah. So, sports fan besides hockey? Yes, no?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Football. Um, Now I know you guys are. Do you all play rugby? Who plays rugby? Who is this?
Just
Roger
me.
Roger.
Roger plays. I love to watch,
Mhm.
but I have no idea what the rules are, but
It's
I
not.
enjoy watching the
It's not
shit
that
out of it.
hard.
Rook has been getting me into it, and I promised the the group that they're. I was like, yes, I will try rugby when things open up again. So now I have to try rugby at least.
You'll love it.
So what's that?
I said you'll love it.
Yeah, I mean,
Roger
yeah,
just don't
man.
want to do
I
two a
love all
days anymore.
sports. Basketball.
I wish I could
Um,
do 2 a days.
I don't. I'm lazy. Remember that late. Let's go back to lazy.
Yes.
Nah,
Let's go
I
back
used to
real quick.
be.
Uh,
I'm one of those guys. The opposite. I would rather work out all day than not do anything.
all right.
Yeah,
So obviously this episode will come out post Super Bowl, but what were your thoughts of the Super Bowl,
Do I need to go
Kansas
get my
City
Tom
and
Brady jersey from downstairs?
Good.
oh,
Do I need to go
okay.
get
So
that?
that's you're that guy. Okay. Uh,
I rooted for the Chiefs last year. I did, and then this year I wholeheartedly rooted against them because you can't go again. You all right? First of all, who's gonna say it was a Belichick system anymore? You can't say that. It can't say it
You
was
can't say
Belichick.
that.
That's
But
It
it.
doesn't exist
Brady
anymore. It
was
was
the
the
system.
Brady system all along.
yes, can we say that Brady's a better GM than Belichick?
Yes.
I think he's seen. To be in all fairness, the respect that he got going into the locker room, I love to watch a lot more than to see the fear of the people leaving New England saying, "I don't want to work for that fucking guy again."
Yes.
Belichick.
Yeah.
So it's been it's been huge. I think it's like one of those key examples of like Belichick. You hear he's a great dude on the street, like he does fantastic things, but like in his job, he's a fucking dick, and nobody likes him. And like it just that's just the case, man. And but like Brady, it's they want to work for him. There's something about when he's on the field with him. He texts Antonio Brown every day. Don't tweet stupid shit today. And guess
Yep.
what? Antonio Brown did tweet stupid shit, and then he caught a TD. He caught a touchdown in the fucking Super Bowl, and he wasn't playing for anyone at the beginning of the year. He was a clown. He
No.
Right.
shit the bed, and then it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm still here. Rob
Yeah.
Gronkowski, same thing. He took a year off, and the Patriots weren't in the Super Bowl.
Right there. Right there. So in our Super Bowl prediction show, I picked Tampa Bay to win. These two jokers picked Kansas City,
You even
and
gloated about it
Kansas City
tomorrow when we record.
and Kansas City couldn't even find the end zone.
Exactly. And I wanted to be like, listen, do you guys remember the last time that the Chiefs 2 years ago when the Chiefs met with the Patriots in the for the AFC Championship and got spanked by Brady, and everyone's like, damn, Mahomes, we really thought he was the guy, but it was Brady in a different system. Now it was Brady in a new system doing the exact same thing. I had to go Brady the whole time, guys. Age
Uh,
over beauty. Age over beauty. And guess what? That age is still beautiful. Oh man, am I
uh,
too gloating too much about that win?
no,
It was just
no.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a little bit.
That's all good. That's all
So,
good. My
the three
Dolphins
of
did that.
us,
I ain't give a shit.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, the three of us will talk about this more tomorrow on our Super Bowl recap show. But have either of the three of you heard the rumor that he during the back and forth between him and Tyron Matthew said he called him some not so nice words that he refused to repeat, and then deleted his tweet about that.
Yeah.
Well, you can
I
literally see
know.
during the
I know what
game.
you're talking about.
You can see during the game Brady go up to him and talk trash to him. So
I saw the altercation, but I haven't seen any of the social aftermath.
Yeah. So apparently, uh, the rumor is, and I don't know for sure, but Tyron Matthew put out this tweet that Brady said some unkind words to him that he wouldn't repeat, called him some names that he refused to repeat. Then he deleted his tweet, and then Bleacher Report reported later that like Brady shot him a text and was like, "Hey man, sorry about everything. You're a good leader or whatnot." And everybody's like, "See, Brady said all of that. He's a racist and all that." And like, I just don't believe that.
You okay?
the thing is, like, you can't say anything to a person of color nowadays without people immediately thinking it's a race thing.
It's everything is contrived. It's all just set up now. Like the way it is. Brady could not operate in a system like that and be racist at the same time. I don't think it would work. You see what happened when Drew Brees once misspoke about the fabric of like a song or this. I can't remember what the hell it was, but like the team was like, "No, dickhead, it's like this," and then he was like, "Oh shit, my bad. It is like this." Like I think if Brady were coming out as a racist, I think we'd hear a lot more about it than Tyron Matthew in the last game of the year. And it's nah. I think I love math. I think Tyron Matthew's amazing as a football player, and his story alone, he's a fighter, no doubt about it. I mean, for
Oh yeah,
getting kicked out of LSU and then overcoming everything he did, he's amazing. But he's a
oh,
hothead.
he's a I think he's a great player, but he's
Mhm.
also a known hothead. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, just
So
look at the
That's why
game.
Arizona wanted to get rid of him.
Oh my God. I loved him in Arizona when they had Calais Campbell. Fuck it. Who else did they?
Patrick
Dwight Freeney. Yeah, Carson Palmer, dude. Wait, who was the backup? Who was the backup? Was it Gabbert? Blaine
Matt
Gabbert.
Leinart.
He just got a fucking Super Bowl ring last night too.
right.
What the Blaine
Oh,
Gabbert?
jeez.
Fucking-
Jeez.
Yeah,
think
Brian
his-
Hoyer's got a Super Bowl ring too.
I think Brian Hoyer's got a couple of them.
Yeah, I
but
think he has
Matt
more than
Brian,
one.
Yeah,
Does he have more than one?
I think he has more than one.
I think he's
Maybe.
got
I don't
think-
know.
Who was Peyton Manning's backup? Because he followed Peyton all the way to the Broncos, so he got two himself.
Did
I
he
don't
pull up
know.
to the Broncos?
His backup went with him. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, he did get the ring there.
Yeah.
Which he took from Brady, guys. You can't say he wins them all.
First of all, we know the
No,
the
I'm sorry.
best. What?
Hoyer only has one.
Oh,
Was it
okay.
one?
Yeah.
I was about to
Was
say
that when
we.
he went to
53.
the Broncos, or was it when he was in Indy?
Oh, Brian Hoyer. Where did he get hit at?
It was with New England.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like-
England, New England.
Yeah, he
Brian
was a
Hoyer?
backup there.
Yeah. He was third string, wasn't he?
It was Super Bowl 53. So it was when New England beat the Rams. Yeah,
Yeah, so
13-3.
So he had to be the third string because didn't already have Stidham?
Did they had Stidham or was it Jimmy G?
It might have been Jimmy G. Actually, you're right.
Hold on, I can tell you.
I
was
think Jimmy G was
Stamos.
already in San Francisco.
It was
No, he
2000.
wasn't.
It was 2018. So
It has to be Jimmy G because 2019 is when he went to San Fran.
yeah, no, it was just it was Tom Brady and Brian Hoyer were the only two. Let's see who was
But wasn't Jimmy G hurt?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right, we're talking too much football. Today's not football day.
No. I just,
This is what we do.
Man,
We have no
people
actual.
keeping you busy.
There's
We
no,
have no
no
extra-
script,
I
there's
want-
no bullet points.
What?
You ever wish for something and get it?
Yes.
You ever
No.
wish for something
Yes.
and get it, and then you're like, shit, now I have to do it. Now I have to do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is that for you? It's something that just came up, obviously.
More shows, just more comedy shows.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
But like, they're getting to a point where they're becoming almost, and I hate to say it, like too stressful to a point, because a lot of it, like I have to manage, facilitate, and make sure it all happens.
Yeah.
But the problem is the people that they want me to do that I'm doing these shows with, they get bigger and bigger every time. So not only do you have to facilitate the show, but your content's got to be good to go with it too. So it's like you got to. So you
Right.
ask for something, you get it, and you're like, "Fuck! Now I have to deliver."
Understand.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like that in the wrestling business sometimes too. It's like you start off, good, and then it's like, all right, now you're gonna wrestle this guy who's been places and has done things. Are you ready for that? Yeah. Okay, you got 2 weeks to get ready. Oh shit. Okay. The day comes and you're fixing to go through the curtain, and then a split second before you have to go through the curtain, you think to yourself, I gotta take a shit. But your music's already hitting. You got to go.
You got to shit yourself. It's fine.
Yeah, and then you try not to shit yourself in the ring, and you worry, your nerves,
put a muffler
nerves
in.
you got friends watching, you got people who are in the business who came to see the show watching, you got the world on you, and you're like, I don't want to fuck this up. You know what I mean?
Hulk Hogan with a spastic colon.
Oh
that's
my
right.
god!
I tell you what, you'd be remembered. They'd remember. You'd be like, "That's that dude."
Hey,
That's
that
the dude
dude.
that shit himself.
Get him out to Denver.
That
We
was
fucking need a guy like him. We need a guy like him. Get him out here.
Shit. I was so nervous to wrestle Billy Gunn. It was crazy.
It was a good match, though.
It was a good match.
I watched
Anything
it 45 times.
I could have done better for him.
Before we get out of here, Drew, anything you want to promote? Got anything coming up? Social media? Lay it all out there for us.
Oh, January 27th, we're doing a comedy show with Comedy Store legend Lou Deck, and then I believe March 11th we'll have our podcast with the Warrior Workout Network with Comedy Store legend Ahmed. March 13th, we're doing a comedy show with Dobie Maxwell. He created the Maxwell method of comedy. What else? The documentary, but I can't talk about that.
No,
All
I
right.
can't talk about that.
I can't talk about that.
All right, we'll hold that for
Secret document.
round 2.
I'll get links to everything.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Send me all your social media links that you want to promote. I'll put them in the show notes. That way people can come and check you out.
And send it me too, so I can put it on the YouTube video.
Yes.
Cool, man. Hey, thank you guys.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you.
for joining
This was
us, man.
fun.
Yeah, we really
Absolutely,
appreciate you joining
absolutely.
us.
We need to get you guys on ours as well. So after this, Roger, we'll set a date to get you on our podcast, and we'll talk about you guys.
That's awesome.
I mean, we're pretty much
Absolutely.
free anytime we can.
Yeah,
Do you
We'll-
guys
we'll
wanna
make
go
time.
one by one, or you want to come in as a group?
either or, whatever works best for
Yeah,
you.
whatever's best for you.
Yeah.
I mean, those two
We-
over there will talk over each other all the time.
What?
So
Let's do it as a series. Let's do it as a 3. I would like to each person's
That's-
story. To be honest, man, I want to.
We're good. We do. I mean, we've done that for 20 years.
he can't
I
talk
have
right now.
Fucking
Go.
computer.
No, I physically can't fucking do it. You can't hear me. I can, but I can't.
I was like, he was trying to talk, and I'm looking down, and he's just like,
I mean, my arms weren't waving back and forth like that, but sure.
yes, they were.
Yes. So,
Oh man.
but yeah, definitely, Drew. We appreciate you wholeheartedly for joining us, getting your story out there. Yeah, once again, thank you for your service. It truly means a
Absolutely.
lot. So
When you
There's
come
that.
down here next
It's been
time, we
an
need to
honor,
get
man.
together.
yeah,
What's that?
When you come down here next time, we need to get together and probably go some ghost hunting or something.
Hey, hell yeah.
My heart has been pulling me to Tennessee. I can't wait to go to Old Chicago. I haven't had Old Chicago in it's in Tennessee. I don't have any here. I gotta go to Tennessee. Dying, man.
Yeah.
But hey, thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
man. Thank you for joining us, man.
Oh,
We really
thank you.
appreciate it.
All right.
Okay. Hold on.
well,
All right, let's do the outro.
it's-
There.
Yeah. Let's hit him
with
with the
that
outro.
being said, please do not leave without leaving a like, comment, share, and subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform.
Follow us on all of our social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Check out the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell to get notified of our latest videos. Check out the Patreon page and check us out on movementradio.us.
I am your host, Chip Hazard,
I'm your host, Alan Williams.
I'm Roger Sierra.
and this is Movement Radio.
God's plan.